Chris Rivera is the Managing Director and CTO of the Americas Service Provider and Web Group at Cisco. Chris is here with us in Dallas at the TIA 2015 Network of the Future Conference. Welcome, Chris. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me, Deborah.
Now, Chris, cloud, in its key forms, public, private, hybrid, are becoming more prevalent and impactful in all aspects of the industry. Cisco announced InterCloud this year. What is InterCloud and how should the industry view this offering?
Right. That's a great question. And we didn't introduce InterCloud to confuse the taxonomy that's developed. But at the root of it, if you take a look at how cloud has evolved in the business, there are many clouds built on many different technologies, and they serve private purposes. You have public cloud, and you have hybrids of clouds. And similar to what we saw on the internet, where we had many different networks with many different technologies, the internet came about because we found the value and unlocked the value of those networks by bringing those networks together over the internet with some common protocols, with common security. And InterCloud is the same concept moved forward and evolved for the cloud, in that we find ways to interconnect these diverse clouds in a way that allows you to unlock the value of cloud across the board. It also gives you the ability to have common standards for interconnection, for security, and to be able to achieve some of the things we want to achieve with cloud around workload mobility, around exchanging of services, around creating marketplaces within clouds and establishing alliances. So InterCloud is really at the core of interconnecting the clouds and the future of the network.
Now, what type of services offers are we seeing in cloud that are most relevant and innovative for service providers? What services are you offering in Cisco InterCloud?
So I think, a lot of the traditional cloud offers around infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service are still prevalent. They're still in very much a growth phase. I think that, where we're at today, service providers are now interested in taking those business models and seeing how they can double down on them. For example, software as a service. So not just offering software as a service based on an application that they create, but offering their infrastructure and their network capabilities with reach to their customers to have third-party SaaS providers co-locate on their infrastructure, as an example. And that opens up new revenue streams. The other area is just building their clouds in a very open, modular way to allow applications and new application developers to develop applications to offer off of their cloud. So they're developing new services. They're evolving some of their existing services, like managed services. They're able to virtualize, leveraging network function virtualization in their cloud to offer more services with a much faster return on investment at much lower costs, leveraging cloud and some of their cloud partners that they potentially interconnect and create alliances with. So all in all, I think cloud is very positive for service providers. They're leveraging that cloud to lower their cost, increase the number of services they have, and increase their reach to their customer base.
Security is becoming a bigger threat, particularly as consumers and enterprises move their services and infrastructure into the cloud. How do you look at cloud security for the industry?
Well, I think one of the ways we look at cloud security is first from the infrastructure perspective, your actual networking, compute and storage infrastructure, your cloud interconnect infrastructure where you need to have security when you're interconnecting clouds or going into the network, and then your application-based security. So I'd say those are three areas that are very, very important. But one of the key areas is around policy, control, and visibility. And one of the ways that we address that particular challenge is through our application-aware infrastructure and being able to apply policy on a per flow and a per service basis. So customer has analytics, they understand where their data is and what's happening to their data.
Virtualization technologies and constructs seem to be maturing, but it's not obvious what technology and services are moving from proof of concept to production. What do you see in the marketplace around virtualization, and how is Cisco addressing this opportunity?
Well, it's interesting because virtualization is maturing, and a lot of the feedback we're getting from service providers is that they want to move from your typical hypervisor-based environments to environments that optimize performance around bare metal environments and containers. So that's one area we see virtualization maturing and the market asking for differentiation. The other opportunity we see is the adoption of network function virtualization, and that's becoming more prevalent, particularly aligned with the ETSI NFV framework and the management and orchestration associated with that. We're moving beyond proof of concept, lab type of environments to implementation environments. And it's happening, I think, at all the major carriers. They're looking at taking advantage of network function virtualization to offer new services, lower costs, expand their reach into different markets, and ultimately, drive more services. So Cisco, as an example, has a very large NFV portfolio. We've invested in the ETSI framework for management and orchestration, and we're partnering with more and more customers to offer virtualized services.
Chris, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time today.
Deborah, thanks for having me.